Over the past 5 months, we've scaled this YouTube automation coach to over $300,000 cash collected. We already have the interview on the channel, but today I'm going to go into the nitty gritty and show you guys how we actually scaled this up. And we actually hit 100K a month in just 4 months. So this YouTube automation coach that we were working with here, they were at 7K a month when they came to us. And the major problem that they had is that they were charging $500 for daily access because they didn't believe that their audience would pay more. That's what a lot of people struggle with. He was giving his phone number, giving daily one-on-one calls, and he had nothing in place at all. But just after us coming in, we came inside of his business, all inside of it, and we helped him scale to $100,000 in a single month, over $300,000 together. And in 2026, we will do $1 million cash collected. So like I said, I'm going to show you everything that you need to learn about, the funnels, the backend systems, everything that we actually did to scale him up. So I'm going to go over like Devin, the situation, and he's an expert at what he does. Whenever he came to us, he was doing 1 billion views a month across all his different channels. Now he's at 2 billion, and this makes it so easy to scale. When the person that we're working with, or you're selling any sort of product or service, you're actually an expert at what you do, makes it way easier. But even though he was an expert at YouTube Shorts, when it came to his program, like I said, it was a mess. Just basically giving up way too much access for too little work, having no systems in place, no funnels, anything like that. Like he literally just copied Jordan Welch's funnel and just ran it. He had no backend infrastructure, no tracking, and he was an employee of the business. And maybe a lot of you guys relate with this. He's working 10, 14 hours a day to make scraps and just working a ton. And he didn't have a skill problem because he was skilled in YouTube Shorts. He had 3K subs, people reached out to him, but he didn't know how to properly position himself as an authority in the space. So when he came to us, we just had to rebuild everything from complete scratch to frame him as a proper authority, one that could get people to pay him not $500 for daily access, but 3K, 5K, 6K for less access. So the first thing we did is the boring stuff that you probably don't care about, but it's very important, and it is the back end. The first step in all this was getting dialed in the back end. This is the boring stuff that you don't really know how to do, you don't really care about, but it's what actually makes this a real business and makes it so you can actually scale. Because if you're not tracking, you're slacking, whether it's calories or whether it's business or whatever the case may be. You have to be tracking every single metric religiously so you can find, okay, what is stopping us from scaling and how can we solve it? First thing we did, instantly we put in our Airtable tracking. Like I showed you earlier, our dashboard that pretty much can track all the different metrics like our close rate, our show rate, and see what is the constraint. But obviously, we have really good close rate. We're at 80%. Amazing. We have really good show rate as well. Our AOV, our average order value here, this is on average how much people spend with us, is very solid, as well as our cash collected per call. So none of these are the constraint in the business, and that's good to know, because if you're going to scale a business reliably, you need to know what we have to fix. But before working with us, he had no idea. He was just running it off vibes like a lot of you guys do, and that's okay to start. But if you actually want to scale, hit 50, 100, 7 figures, 8 figures, you're going to have to see this as a real business. You're going to have to actually track and figure out the bottleneck. Because now we can look at the dashboard and instantly see, oh, I need to raise my close rate or my show rate. Or it's like, okay, what do we need to increase here? Well, we need to increase our connection rate, our booking rate of connection, etc. We can look at all these different metrics so we can see, okay, of these metrics, right, what is holding us back? At the moment right now, it's just lead flow, because every single one of these metrics pretty much dialed in. We have a good close rate, a good show rate, a good this, a good that. The easiest thing for us to double here is going to be our traffic, but you don't know that unless you actually track it. And honestly, our VSL engagement rate is very low, so we're going to be coming out with the new VSL. Then we also set up a simple just Discord/Slack setup, because before, he would just look on the Typeform, dial leads up off his personal number, and try to close them on that call. No pre-call assets, no anything, no organization. You had to sift through all the unqualified leads. That's not the way to do it at all. So you want to track right here, like, okay, we want to filter out the DQ and the qualified applicants, as well as whenever people book a call, we confirm that call, main chat for the money, and then we just have like different things for the team to communicate. Then we also built out a CRM as well, just to warm people up prior to the call. So we have these hammer them emails, which I'm going to break down later. Basically, there's emails that are going to increase the warmth. They're going to warm up the prospects before the call, answering common questions. We dialed in the Calendly here, so that way we could have the least amount of drop off as possible, because a lot of Typeforms are not optimized at all. You want to have a 40 to 60% completion rate, just kind of depending. We have a 40% including the booking, so it's really more like 60% or so, just to get as many leads as possible. And we have like low drop off too, like 5% for the capital, 35% for the info, info, and then we have some drop off for booking calls, but that's normal. Like I said, lead routing to setters, so that way the setters can hit up the qualified applicants, the qualified booked calls, and just dial them up and dial them in. And then we just track everything religiously to make sure everything's dialed. Because like I said, if you're not tracking, you are slacking. But now with the boring stuff out of the way, this is one of the biggest levers that we pulled, and something I see time and time and time again that a lot of people struggle with, and it's having a good offer. Because like I said, he had a $500 for daily access for his offer. That's no way to scale. You're never going to scale with that. And you're not even getting paid what you're worth, because he's already doing like 40, 50, 100K a month with YouTube automation. So there's no point for him to pay $500 for daily one-on-one access. It just doesn't make any sense. So instead what we did is we revamped his offer to have 3 different tiers, because here's a keynote of why we have such a high close rate. You need to handle all the reasons that they can't control. And one of them being is that a lot of people just can't afford your service. So if you have downsell offers, lower ticket offers for prospects, they'll be able to afford your offer. But what we did is, so our big high ticket offer is 6K, and we do get PIFs on this. And this is just, instead of daily access, they get a weekly 20-minute one-on-one call, one-on-one chat, community access, weekly group calls, course material, and direct connection to his editors. So it's like he instantly, like 1/5 of the work, 1/10 of the work for 11x the price, which is absolutely insane. And then our 4K, it's same as above, but just bi-weekly one-on-one calls. And then we have a group coaching offer for $1,500. And right there, like that's 3 different offers that don't take up a lot of time, and he's getting paid a good amount of money for it, like it should be with info, because it needs to be scalable systems. You got to be able to scale. You don't want to be drowning in client fulfillment. It doesn't make any sense. But the key here is to structure the offer in a way so where it's less time intensive, but they still get good results. And a lot of people are scared about high ticket. They feel like, oh, I'm going to be skimming my clients or whatever the case may be. But the truth is that whenever you sell higher ticket programs, 1K, 3K, 5K, 6K, you're not targeting everybody. You're targeting a small segment of the market that actually has money and is willing to invest into themselves. And you're going to make more money by working with less students. Instead of him working with 12 $500 students, he's able to work with 1 6K student. Same price, way less work for the 6K. And the high ticket clients, the one that pay multiple thousands of dollars, they're more committed. They get way better results, because whenever you pay attention. If I pay you like $5, $10, $50, $100, I don't really care. If I'm paying you multiple thousands of dollars, I'm going to take it more seriously. In turn, I'm going to get better results. And he can actually spend more time focusing on that one student because he has less students. So overall, it's just a win-win-win whenever you charge what you're actually worth. You charge higher ticket prices. Because the issue he faced, and probably a lot of you, is that he had a bunch of students paying $500. They would give up. Well, some of the people would be on payment plans, and then they would just cancel the payment plan and be like, yo, sorry, bro, I can't. But now he gets, 10, 20, 30 students, and it's way better, way more structured. He's making way more money because, you get better results. That creates better testimonials, makes it easier to get sales, and then you get more students because of the testimonials that you have. And it's just an infinite flywheel. Whenever you start charging what you're worth, you charge high ticket and you frame it in the right way. So let's go over how do we actually convince these guys to pay us multiple thousands of dollars for way less access. It's because of the funnel, right? And what you need to realize is that what the funnel does is it's going to frame you properly. It's the funnel and the content. But like I said, he copied Jordan Welch's funnel, had a 1-minute VSL. I'm just going to kind of break down everything, but we implemented 2 main funnels for him. The first one being a free course funnel. So essentially they opt in with their name, email, phone number, and they're getting access to a free course that just gives them a ton of information. It's really just a lot of our YouTube content where we give a lot of the what, some of the how. And what this does is whenever they go through this course, they're just getting nurtured. First of all, they're getting sold on the business model, but second of all, they're getting sold on Devin, because if they spend 3, 4, 5 hours with him, number one, they're going to trust him way more, but also they're going to be like, okay, this is the free stuff, right? This is what he just gives out for free. Imagine if he pays us. But on top of that, we have their phone number and their email. So what we're doing here is we are emailing these guys. We put them in a 5-day email sequence. And yes, this books us calls and we get PIFs from that. Also, we're dialing up these leads prior to the sales call, or prior not to the sales call, just as soon as they opt in, and we're booking them both onto sales calls to collect cash. Then from there, we have our standard VSL funnel. And this is where we push everybody to learn more about YouTube. And honestly, we need to switch this VSL, but it's a very simple funnel. You have a headline that speaks to your audience. You have a solid VSL that engages the audience, and you send them to an application. And like I said, our application has a good percentage. This just shows 38.7 because we have them book a call inside of the type form. It's just way more efficient and way easier. But the key here, and what you need to understand nowadays, is that part of your funnel is going to be the content. It's not only the VSL. A lot of the selling comes from the content. And especially, like I said, with that flywheel, when we have interviews like this, 5K to 35K in 1 month, 0 to 20K in a month, and then we also have outlier videos as well that make him an authority. It's going to make it way easier to sell to him, because by the time someone watches 2, 3, 4, 5 of these YouTube videos, they're going to be sold on Devin. They're going to be sold on the business model, and the VSL just shows them the next natural step. Application is going to qualify them, make sure that they're a good fit. And then the confirmation page is what really gives us an 80% close rate. Because on the confirmation page, as soon as somebody books in, we're giving them a ton of information. We're giving them a pre-call video that answers common questions. We're giving them student interviews, FAQs, and proof that it actually works. So boom, right away, they see the pre-call video. It's about 13 minutes. We have chapters so that way people can skip through. And then they see a bunch of student interviews. So they're going to watch this and see, okay, is this guy legit? And they see that we get good results. Boom, he's actually legit. That's exactly what it does, because if you have good content in place and you have a good pre-call situation just like this, right, where we triage the leads before the sales call, we call them up, make sure that they're a good fit, we send them these assets, make sure that they consume them, we have okay sales and really good YouTube content, it cooks. It literally cooks, because we have 97% show rate, 80% close rate. We don't have any crazy closers. We don't have any closer that has millions of dollars cash collected. But just because we have a good process, we have good content in place, it's very easy to close these leads and the right offer structure, because the whole funnel isn't about collecting leads and booking calls, but we want to pre-sell leads prior to the sales call, so that way these calls are not educational calls. We have to teach them. We have multiple call closes, longer sales cycles. Instead, we ideally do one call closes, right? One call, close. That's it. It's that simple. Basically, on the calls there, it's like, take my money. There's very few objections because these people are already warm, they're already nurtured, all their questions are already answered. 85% close rate, 226 live calls, 95% show rate. Just because we have the right funnel in place where we have the good content and we pre-sell leads. But the main lever that we pulled here was actually dialing in his content. The content strategy, this is what allowed us to quadruple his subs in 4 months. This generated all the traffic, this pre-sold a lot of the leads, and it's one of the most important parts. So really what we started to see is that a lot of our revenue actually came from people already doing YouTube automation and just people that could pay high ticket. So instead, what we did was we stopped targeting beginners. We started targeting more people that already have money. And that's just what we focused on, because as you can see right here, it's all about the messaging, like what you look like, how you talk, the ideas that you put out is what you're going to attract. So right here, how does Devin look? He looks like he's from India. It's true. He looks like he's in the trenches. It does not look quality at all. If I see this guy, I don't believe that he's making 40, 50, 100K a month from YouTube automation. I just don't believe it. But if we go over here, look at the difference, right? We have nice background. We have actual proof, right? He actually looks good. He has the guru mic. He looks solid. He looks good. See, it's all the difference, and it matters, because as far as his content was like, not only was it just basic stuff, but he just looked bad. He just didn't look good. You have to have aura. If you don't have aura, like, it's so cringy to say, but you have to have aura. I mean, look at me. I have Rick and Morty in the background. I have a nice camera. I have this nice shirt. This is what separates me from all the other people creating content, because I look like a professional. And if you perceive somebody as an authority, you perceive them as a professional, they're going to trust you way more. And once we started making content like this, it was very easy to get 5, 6K pips. The way that we were actually able to blow up his YouTube channel is just called the outlier method. So I'm going to show you everything A to Z. And essentially what we do is the first step is we're going to analyze his niche, and we're going to look at niches that are similar. So it goes like this, right? This is the bubble of our niche, right? This YouTube automation. And what we're going to do is we're going to take popular formats that work and just put them into our niche. So on top of that, outside of YouTube automation, we just have like online biz, right? So OB, online business. And then outside of that, we have like business. And then you could even argue like we have like fitness, and just basically what we're going to do is we're going to take popular formats from these like 2 or 3 places, and we're going to use them in our own. So for example, we found this video, don't give up on trading, my story. It was a 100x outlier. What that means is that this video got over 100x the normal amount of views it does for this channel. So what did we do? We stole it. We made our own. So instead we said, don't give up on YouTube, not trading, but YouTube, my story, 2.8x. That means this video got 2.8 times the amount of normal views our channel gets, which is pretty good. But it's almost 3x the amount of normal views. That's more leads coming in the door. That's newer leads as well. It makes it very easy to scale. And the key here, whenever you're taking these popular formats, is having in the right packaging. Because as you can see, this packaging here is very similar. So you want to take the popular format and you want to take a very similar packaging, right? So right here, same thing. We took pretty much the title like word for word. We just changed it for our own. And you want to make sure that these thumbnails, that these titles are going to be premium and that they follow the proven format. You don't have to make up what works. You don't have to think of something new. You can just copy, you can just steal what works, make it your own. And it's very simple. But on top of that, you want to be perceived as an authority. So you want to make sure that you have good looking thumbnails for your niche. So like this is fine because he's showing analytics. And this is something that's good in our niche, right? This, he looks quality. This, he looks quality. You want to position yourself as a premium brand. Okay, because premium is what's going to make the most amount of money. I'll give you guys an example. Like if you have like a couple different people that are all selling the same thing, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's no point in being the second cheapest option, and you might as well just position yourself as an authority and see yourself as the best option, because then your profit margin's higher, you make the most amount of money. And for our niche specifically, what I really like to do is just be raw, authentic, and show a lot of proof. because like I talked about, and I'll talk about my VSL, which if you want to work with us, have us do everything for you. First link in the description, you can book a scaling call with me personally to have us scale you. But people are tired of fake gurus. They're tired of these fake screenshots, these dreams being sold, and you just need to position yourself as an authority and show that you actually do the business model. And there's going to be 3 different types of content that you post depending on what you need. So we have top of funnel. These are very broad topics that grow the channel. So for example, this is a very top of funnel video. It's not necessarily targeting our ICP, people who already do YouTube. Instead, what it's doing is it's just bringing people into our pipeline, into our ecosystem. We have middle of funnel, so this can be value packed breakdowns for our specific business model. And for example, how I break out of every view gel on YouTube Shorts, I explain everything. This got 8.5 views, 8.5 thousand. So this is easily a 4 or 5x, and it's just breaking down how to break out of Vue.jl, which is a specific problem that a lot of the people in our niche struggle with. And then bottom of funnel is just going to be selling the mentorships, so this case studies and offer breakdowns and stuff like that. And you just kind of want to mix it up. Really what you want to focus on is good amount of top of funnel, right, to bring in the leads, middle of funnel to nurture these leads, and then bottom of funnel to sell these leads. Because we got to take them from problem aware to solution aware to ready to buy now. That's really why we do these different formats. And we've gotten some pretty good videos, like 28,000 views, 27,000, 21,000, all in a very small niche. YouTube automation is not that big of a niche, right? And we're just consistently getting outlier after outlier, views after views. And that's what you do whenever you follow the outlier format. You have the right packaging, you have the right hooks, you have the right titles. At the time of recording this video, he's over 14,000 subs. We started working with him literally like right around here. As you can see, he just skyrocketed, going from like under this line to now almost 15K subs. And the cool thing is about YouTube, and whenever you're an authority, is that people just binge your content. They watch hours and hours and hours of you. It makes it very easy for them to trust you, because by the time they apply, they're already pre-sold. Next up is the sales. So sales is definitely important. It's not, you don't need the best sales in the world. You don't have to be the best salesman. You can easily close these leads. And we have a very lean team. You need to be very lean with your teams because these people need to get paid. So we just had a setter and a closer, and that's it. And honestly, we had a hybrid. Like, we have a hybrid setter closer. He just sets and closes. But the key here is going to be having those backend systems I talked about earlier to have, high close rates and high shows rate. So I'm going to show you the job of the sales team, really. The setter, what they need to do is they need to dial up all the leads. So they dial up the qualified applications, the booked calls, and the opt-ins. And we need to make sure that they don't lie. A lot of people lie on the application. A lot of people just lie on it for whatever reason. But his whole job is to call them up, qualify them, build rapport, push them to the assets, get them hyped for the call. Because people need information to make a decision. That's all that they need. And if we can give them the right information prior to the sales call, it's going to be very easy. So like I said, some things that we do is we're going to send them testimonials from people just like them. So for example, if there's some 18-year-old, we're going to send them an interview of this 18-year-old. If they're working a job, we're going to send them with somebody that's working a job. And when you do that, it's like, dang, this person's just like me. So if they can do it, I can too. On top of that, we're going to show proof the program works and give FAQs. So this is where we send them to our pre-call page, just kind of answering more of their questions. Because by the time they show up to the call, if they see those interviews, they watch the pre-call page, they're going to have no more questions. Everything's going to be answered. At that point, the closer job just has to show up, build a little bit of trust, build a little bit of rapport, and close them. It's because of the pre-framing of what we do. Because like our closers are feeling like prime LeBron, just because it's like it's so easy for them to close these leads just because they're pre-sold. They're literally coming in as layups based on what we do. A lot of programs, we have like the baseline here, I don't know. But like you're making it like have to be like a half court shot. And it really shouldn't be like that. Because if we can go over here and just make it a layup, it's going to be way easier to close these deals. How often do you make a layup? 90% of the time versus like a half court, it's going to be like, 10. We don't have to hard close people either. Whenever you do this system, it's very easy. The only objections you have to do is just help them get out of their own fear. A lot of the people will have fear whenever they're investing into these programs. If you can handle that fear, help them overcome it, it's very easy. That's why we have an 80% close rate. It's because of our systems. Then it's the fulfillment. So you have to have good fulfillment. We can't be LARPing. We can't be scamming people. So I'm going to show you everything that we're doing to have it structured so that way you can bring out a lot of clients, get them good results while still not being overwhelmed. So you want to have structured calls whenever you're doing the coaching calls. Number one, you want to do an onboarding form so you can see why they actually joined, what made them interested in working with you specifically, so you can double down that on your content. Also, you're going to want to book in a one-on-one call. And the thing, if you're all running one-on-one calls, is you want to structure out your time. So for example, with Devin, he has a couple different blocks where he only takes student calls. So Saturday, Thursday, Tuesday, and he's absolutely packed. You might be like, oh my gosh, he's packed. But that's a good thing because that means the rest of these other days, he's completely free to just do whatever he needs to, whether it's work on his main business, record content, or whatever the case may be. And that's the best way to do it. On top of that, we have one-on-one chat support. So pretty much you can just message the students, answer any questions that they have. And then we also have the weekly group calls as well for general Q&A, right? All the students can hop on, get to know each other, learn from each other, etc. And then we're having full course material as well. So that way the students can learn from that, and Devin isn't the only source of information. And the key here is to make it so that way your one-on-one calls are not the only way to get help. Ideally, like the structure should be, well, first they check out the course, right? If the course doesn't answer it, then they should message. They should message plus group call. Then if that doesn't work, then they book a one-on-one. And when you have a structure set up like this, it saves you a lot of time, because realistically, if you do something like this, you rarely ever have to hop on one-on-one calls. Even the consulting I run, where I just coach other like growth operators and whatnot, we did like 50K first month. I rarely hop on one-on-one calls just because everything's covered in the course. And if it's not, then they can message me, I'll answer. And if we still can't figure it out on there or a group call, I'll just book a one-on-one call with them. But it's very easy. It's very, very easy to solve. So now instead of working 10 to 14 hours a day, he has a couple hours a week to work on fulfillment. His students get better results, and every call gets recorded. So that way we can just make the course content better and make the scalable things like group coaching, community, group calls, courses over time. We make it better, so that way we don't have to do any one-on-one calls. And at that point, it just becomes scalable, and less than a 1% dispute rate on this. Like, these are our only chargebacks. They both actually withdrew them because we hopped on a call and cleared up everything. And whenever you just set the right expectations, have the right fulfillment in place, it becomes very easy to avoid any sort of refunds or chargebacks. So I'm going to show you guys how we're going to scale this to 100K plus a month consistently, ideally 150. It's going to be very easy. So number one is probably getting him on Instagram. YouTube is good, but having another platform, especially one where we can run ads on it, is going to be very helpful. I know I like to preach a lot about YouTube and everything, which is great, but ads at the end of the day are great for a reason. So we're going to get him on Instagram, right? Start posting content about personal branding, about YouTube, automation, everything. We'll start running monthly webinars with the short form leads, which honestly we could with the long form leads, but I think if we just get some short form in there running a webinar, it also makes us a lot of money. And then from there, we're just going to run paid ads, probably profile ads or cold Webby ads, and then just scale it from there, right? It's going to be very easy. Then we continue to systemize fulfillment. We'll bring on a CSM, which is just a coach that will pay 1 to 5K a month, and he's just going to help us coach the students. And then from there, it's just barbecue. It's just raw beef. It's barbecue chicken, raw beef, right? Because the bottleneck right now isn't the offer, the funnel, or the sales team. The only thing that I can really see it being is either connection rate or traffic, because we're averaging less than 1 call a day right now. So if we double the call volume, easy 100K plus a month consistently. So yeah, if you're a creator, coach, info business owner, etc., and you want help scaling to 50, 100K a month, you can just book a call with me down below, and I'll see you there. Peace.